Hello, welcome to the kitchen of our Winchester Plan model home here in Republic Grand Ranch. And I was going to go through with you some of the thinking and why we created this home and this kitchen in this way, and kind of help you understand what we look at when we're designing a home. Some of the things we think about. Now, there is no one rule or no one thing that is right for everybody. It's a question of what's right for you. So really, we've kind of taken a personality here and kind of gone with it, the characteristic of the home, if you like. But I'm going to start over here with the kitchen sink. So traditionally, a lot of kitchen sinks are actually based in the island. And that's where people build these days, is to put the sink in the island. And there's a place for that, absolutely, particularly if you have, cooking and you're in and out all the time. But predominantly, most people these days, they don't do a lot of cooking anymore. When they do, they don't run backwards and forwards between the appliance and the sink. But what they do have, what we all have in common, is we have a lot of cleaning to do. So we have an understanding that this sink is going to be probably, when you're using the kitchen, the place that you spend most time at. And so when I'm at the sink, what do I want to be looking at? Well, I want to be looking at the view because I live on land. And so that's what we've done here, is really press into what can I do to create an enjoyment factor around one of the things that's, excuse the pun, but dull as dishwater, right? It's a chore we all have to do. So we have that here. The other thing this gives you as well is a delineated and separated cleaning zone. So this is where you come to do the cleaning. It means that when you have cooked and you're about to eat, you're not looking in the center of your island at all the dirty pots and pans. It's over here out of the way. Your island, as you're about to see, is still clean and it still looks good. And so whether you're sitting at the casual dining, the formal dining, or even if you're sitting and having dinner, kind of like a Starbucks cafe here at the island, this island is now clear of the dirty dishes, the dirty pots, any of the stuff that kind of gets in the way and interrupts the eyesight. So when you're over there, when you're here, you can sit, you can relate. And so we really came up with this concept of the relationship zone, the relational zone, where people are able to sit at the island and interact with each other. Another reason why we don't want these pots and pans here. When I was a kid, I used to go to my auntie's. I used to, now and again, when I was able to get away with it, my mum was a school teacher, so I wasn't able to get away with it much. But when I used to, get a day off school, I would go to one of my auntie's houses, and we would sit at her kitchen table, and I'd do my homework, or I'd eat my beans on toast, or I'd help her make butterfly cakes, whatever it was. But the kitchen table became the heart of the home. People would come in, they'd sit down, they'd have a cup of tea or coffee at the table, and really moving the sink out of the kitchen island and creating an island where people are able to relate brings back that idea of a community and the kitchen being the heart and the soul of the home. Behind me, I have the fancy schmancy cafe appliances. And what's really interesting about this is that the cafe appliance here is a 48-inch, it has white, and it has these upgraded knobs. But in the home as a standard with us, you get a range top that is a cafe appliance. It is 36, it's not white, it hasn't got the upgraded knobs, but these are small things if you want to upgrade and personalize. But you do get a 6-burner cafe range top in your home as of Friday, July 21st, when we're making this video, 2023. So you can see what I've done on the backsplash here. Because we've moved the sink over and created a separate cleaning zone, we still wanted to be able to apply a water tap if you had, to refresh pasta, or you needed to add water to pots and things like that were heavy or hot. You still have this ability here to be able to use this and use a pot filler to be able to get what you need to get. Obviously, this is a beautiful backdrop, and the symmetry of both sides here, particularly on the center line as you look down this room, is phenomenal. It really gives a presence to the space, and makes the kitchen super beautiful. Also, next to this, we have an idyllic little coffee area. Now, if you're like me, I'm a caffeineaholic. So I wake up in the morning and words don't work until I've had at least 2 cups of coffee. So this is a really important space for me. But it's also important that I'm able to close this up and keep it hidden so that it can still be beautiful when people come over in the evening. Or if you have a dinner party, you have a really nice, fabulous space to kind of set up, make coffee afterwards, or what have you. And then back over here, we have another couple of really interesting pieces. This, in a lot of instances, would be considered a pantry. To us, it's not. We have an enormous pantry. But having these 2-foot deep drawers is hugely important because it allows you to access and store a lot more than just having a cabinet down here and the shallower uppers above. And it also allows our uppers over here to be used more in a display fashion than just in a functional area. Again, we have the Advantium microwave oven combination and also the cafe oven down here. Now, these are included in the home when we contract with you. This is something that you get as a standard. What you don't get is it being finished in white or with these fancy rose gold handles. You can upgrade those. Again, it's not hugely expensive, but you do get the Advantium and the cafe. These are Wi-Fi enabled as well, which is really cool. So if you're cooking and you say, I want a chicken recipe, you can just hit that, scroll through, find it, put your thermometer in your chicken, hit the cook button, and it tells you into a world-class chef. You may actually be a world-class chef. It turns me into a world-class chef when I use the kitchen that way. So that's kind of a look around the kitchen and how we set it up. You have the cleaning zone, you have the preparation zone, the relational zone, you have cooking areas, and you have storage. So fridges are not something that comes as an included feature in a Royal Texan home because they're so personal. Some people want to have this lower drawer, some people do not. Some people want a side-by-side, some people want it bigger. So whatever the fridge is that you want, we will construct and devise and design a kitchen around those needs. But here we just went with the cafe appliance because we thought this is a good area where we do some matchy-matchy. On this side of the island, we have a bunch of drawers, and on this side of the island, we have a bunch of drawers too. So I'm going to show you this. This is really useful because these drawers allow you to keep pots, saucepans, frying pan skillets, those kind of things separated, but really handy for when you're cooking because you're able to pull them out, help yourself, and put them on the top. Same thing on this side. We did the apothecarial look, which you might see in one of the old pharmacies or something like that, you know, back in the 1800s. I think it looks really interesting, but it's also very functional. Same thing, you're not reaching into cabinets, you're able to open drawers and get them. Again, not a standard or included feature to have these drawers here, but it's an upgrade that some people just want to do because it personalizes. It doesn't cost $1 billion. Whatever it is that you want to have, we can work with you to create and replicate your personality in the kitchen we design for you. Storage is abundant. The beautification of it is important. The working areas and zones. And then, of course, we have this pantry, which to some people is a pantry. To us, we see it more like, almost like a prep kitchen. And I'll go through the psychology and thinking of that in another video. Anyway, I'm Mark. I'm the founder of Royal Texan Homes. I am in our model home over here in Republic Grand Ranch, but whether you're building here, one of the other Grand Ranch developments, or High Meadows Estates, or anywhere like that, any of these beautiful build on your lot communities really deserve a home like this. And if you want to see what you're getting into, come over and meet with us. We can talk you through everything, but I wanted to create some videos that allow you to understand our thinking in how we design our houses. Please hit the subscribe button because I think it's really important that you're able to know when we release more videos on homes we're devising, information you might want to know before you buy lots, or little ideas or design considerations you might want to have. Outside of that, I will see you on the next one.